Welcome back, everyone. So, in the last couple parts, you could see me make some progressions towards the ideal Orthus build, and I think I did reach the point where I can finally be satisfied with the build on this ship. Now, I have several new builds that were allowed thanks to the new rigs that I have in place for this ship, and I'll show you a couple of these builds. Now I'll try to keep most of the exact rigs that I have in place a secret for now. I'm still thinking about doing some modifications just to improve some areas and aspects that are still kinda lacking. But as you could see, so finally I am able to fit a large shield extender. That was my goal because it would work a lot better than the active shield booster. It is indeed a very tight fit, as you can see, with only 2 power grid to spare, so I'm very glad that I actually went with the Republic Fleet one. I initially wanted to get I think the Protector, which is the highest tier. The resistance also look way better than before, should withstand a lot more damage. Now, instead of the ballistic controls, if you want more shield and if you want more tank, you can easily place dual invulnerability fields, which should improve the resistance quite a bit. I expect around 80% resistance once they are activated, and this surprisingly looks pretty good with my occasional roam, because I usually orbit at 40-45 kilometers. I don't take too much damage at that distance anyway, so this build would work perfectly fine. Well, the resistances look pretty good, 70,000 effective, so that's also a massive improvement over the 26,000 that I used to have. So overall, I might play with this build a lot more, because so far it looks to be very tanky. And if I actually had this ship with this build when I fought that Brutix a couple days ago, I would have won without a problem. And of course this also works with my usual setup with the points and scramblers. So a very interesting build that I can't wait to test out. Now another one that can also be quite interesting, because this ship is after all a long range ship. You can replace one of invulnerability fields with a ballistic control that improves missile damage and of course rate of fire. It still can fit with the current build and with the large shield extender. Should offer enough resistance and enough damage to went through most ships. Now, if you don't like to use the normal medium missiles, you can place rapid missiles. This build is against frigates and cruisers. The Orthus with rapid missiles is death for pretty much all frigates that are in the game. With this build, I would fly with dual scramblers and 1 point. Of course, you can also use the dual invulnerability field setup for this, for the extra resistance that would work pretty well at closer ranges. And of course, let me see what I'll place here. I thought about using a capacitor battery. It should be able to fit, so let me just quickly find a capacitor battery to place here, and then we can move on to the next build. And surprisingly also a very tight fit with the capacitor battery, in this case 9 power grid, so nice. That should give you some capacitor runtime at this range, still quite tanky. And let me quickly check out how this would look. So you would like to pop the capacitor battery and the shield extender, because that way your main capacitor will not be depleted. This uses 1.2k gigajoules, okay, so, and the capacitor battery should give you around 1000, so almost identical usages. So your main capacitor will not feel when you activate that shield extender. And again, that shield extender can help you a lot in fights. And now onto my personal favorite, dual capacitor battery and a large shield extender, not extender, large shield booster. So this is a active tank build that works on both long and short ranges. You can place the normal medium missiles with this build if you like. The DPS looks kinda low, that's because of my skills. In the next couple days I'm going to be improving on that. So, technically the capacitor and the shield booster can run eternally. So I'm just gonna test that theory out here. The thing here is smart capacitor management. So if you orbit at long range, then you don't have to use the micro warp drive constantly because most ships are going to be slow. Your main targets with the Orthus are mainly cruisers, battle cruisers and battleships. Against frigates you don't even need to use the shield booster for this long. But well, let's test the theory out. Can the capacitor run indefinitely? Well, I will try to see what I can do about that. Now keep in mind, the points and the scrummers would run in this case, or dual points would work if I use the normal missiles. As you can see, the first capacitor battery is in cooldown. I'm now using the second one. Capacitor seems to be super stable so far. The idea is to train that smart capacitor management, something that I did get the idea for this from the new Dreadnought mode. That's where I actually had to use my capacitor wisely for repair or for weapons. This capacitor should last long enough without the micro warp drive now until the first capacitor battery exits the cooldown. So let's see if the capacitor will last. I have a couple more seconds before the battery is out of cooldown, just in time so that I can activate the capacitor battery and the micro warp drive. The second capacitor battery is exiting cooldown as well. As you can see, the shield booster was running constantly without being turned off. So as for the aspect from active shield tanking, this looks so far pretty good. I actually like this build, and for this reason, because I can keep my shield booster indefinitely, this might be my next primary build. Only with the slight change in weapons, I would use the normal medium missiles, not rapid missiles, because my targets mostly are cruisers, battle cruisers, battleships, and of course above that. So very interesting and a very well balanced build so far for this Orthus. Alright, well, enough of the theory part. Let's actually go and destroy some ships. So, first target, warping towards the location. This one is going to be an expensive one. We see faction drones on that prophecy. Well, I smell blood, so there has to be some decent loot inside of that battle cruiser. So let's quickly tackle it. First missile did some decent damage. Prophecy has been pointed. I pray that they don't have any warp core optimizers, because then they can easily warp out. Prophecy now in low armor. They have locked me on. They have now launched their drones on me. Let's see how much damage faction drones do on the Orthus. This is before I changed the build, so expect some serious damage on my shield. There we go. Drones are now on me. Prophecy in low hull. I'm now in mid shield. Nice. Oh, okay, nice kill. Let's see what's inside of that Prophecy. We already know that the Prophecy has faction drones. And oh man, this was one very expensive Prophecy. This is how you make Omega in less than 15 minutes. Around 500 million ISK from that one Prophecy. So 2 months of Omega just from that one kill. Not bad, not bad. That was a pretty nice kill and a lucky one as well. Alright, let's go towards the next target. Have returned at one of our usual places where we have some very nice targets floating around. The Orthus is amazing against battlecruisers and battleships. Now, next target is a Malar. If you remember, I talked about how Malars are the tankiest tier 6 cruisers that... The Malar is the tankiest tier 6 cruiser in the game. And I have very big respect towards that ship, because one of these ships did tank my Cinnabal a while ago, and my Cinnabal did have some serious DPS. So let's see how this Malar will do against an Orthus. As you can see, my damage drastically dropped. That's because they use, I would guess, dual adaptives with one reactive, or one adaptive and one reactive, with, I believe, a medium armor repair. So still a very tanky target. They are slowly going down, so that's working for me. In case they had in case they could tank my ship, I would just wait for them to lose their capacitor, and then the tank would be broken. So in the end it would have been a endurance fight, who can last longer. Their armor is almost down. I am on my second cycle with the ballistic control. My DPS with the ballistic control enabled is around 1000, so 1000 DPS should do the job. Malar is now in hull. They are using pulse lasers. I'm orbiting at 33 kilometers. Pulse lasers have around 16 kilometer optimal range, so I'm safe. Oh, a second Orthus joined the fun. Okay. 15 billion ISK on the field. Right here. Only 2 ships. Alright, nice. Let's check out what's inside of the wreck. I'm very curious to see the build on that Malar. Okay, interesting. So they had dual small armor repairs. A very interesting choice. If that was a medium armor repair, I believe that ship would have been more tankier than with dual small armor repairs. Next target, we have a Apocalypse. Alright, this is going to be fun. I love to shoot battleships with the Orthus. The Orthus is one of those ships that has the alpha output of a battleship. You're about to see what I'm talking about. Dual ballistic controls. First hit did a lot of damage, okay, and I'm around 5.2 thousand alpha on this Apocalypse, which is battleship alpha damage from a cruiser, which is very impressive. This Apocalypse does have a nano core, so expect a very nice kill from this battleship. And they are now almost in low armor. I'm still doing some very nice damage on the Apocalypse in armor. I believe they're armor tanked, I'm not quite sure, I might be wrong. Apocalypse now in hull. Let's reapproach the gate. Alright, let's warp towards the next target. Oh, wrong location, alright. Let's see. Waiting for the fleet commander to warp fleet, and then we are going to land at the right location. That's a scary looking Apocalypse Striker. These things have so much DPS. They are very deadly ships. They can melt cruisers in seconds. I really need to get myself a Apocalypse Striker one day, when I can buy one, because most of my ships are cruisers, so I might need a battleship. This is a Dominix 2. Oh man, this is gonna be a very nice kill. Okay, perfect warp-in. They have been pointed, orbiting at 38 kilometers. Dominix 2 is a tier 10 battleship. The last one we destroyed was 6.8 billion. A very nice kill. Was a pretty good chase too. That was one of the most fun. That was literally one of the best chases that I've had in this game. Dominix 2 now in hull. You can see the Apocalypse Striker doing some crazy damage on that battleship. Time to approach. They're about to go down. Nice, alright, Dominix 2 destroyed. Let's grab the wreck. Oh, nice, not bad. Not bad at all. That's some nice loot that we all can use, you know. Having good loot and of course a good kill is always a nice combination.
Warp drive active.
Okay, running towards the next target. Let's see who's waiting for me on the other end. The scanner is a very important module, and this ship has 4 medium slots, so it works incredibly well. Alright, we have a Vexor Navy. I landed just in the right distance, 4 points. Okay, pointed, orbiting at hopefully the right distance. We'll orbit at 20 kilometers because the ship decided to go at 50 kilometers. I lost points there for a moment. Okay, one more hit should do the job, or maybe 2 hits, we will see. Yep, looks like it's going to be 2 hits, alright. An armor tank, Vexor Navy. Well, 3 hits then, I guess. They are repairing their armor a little bit. Okay, well, I guess the game decided to do that, so the 5th hit did shoot down that Vexor Navy. Okay, Let's see what's inside of the wreck. Okay, nice. Now I can burn away from the mission beacon and wait out my criminal timer. Was a nice kill. Now I have to be careful about other pirates that can jump in, because I'm still close to the beacon towards the next target. This time I set my orbit properly. Sometimes when I am in a fleet I set my orbit at 50 kilometers because other players in the team will point the ship while I can maintain distance and of course DPS. A Megatron. Well, this one will be a nice one. Dual Orthus action here. A very rare opportunity to see two of these ships cause some serious damage. Megatron pointed. It looks like they have the short versions of the railguns. At 37 kilometers I should be safe. Now let's see who's going to be their primary target, and I guess you all probably guessed that by now. I'm their primary target, as in 90% of cases. The Megatron also appears to be having a nanocore. That's a very nice nanocore too. Oh well, they are now in... They're reaching low armor here, so they are gonna go down in the next couple minutes. The Orthrus is the ultimate cruiser if you want to shoot down expensive battleships. They can solo most of them except the rattlesnake, but that is kinda changed with my new build that I can actively tank for a long period of time, so you can even shoot down a rattlesnake with this ship. Oh man, that's a nice... that was a nice Megatron. A very expensive one too. To the gate. Next target. Dominix.
Warp drive active.
Let's warp. This time I'm the one who will try to tackle that battleship. I'm still kinda paranoid flying this ship for this purpose, because one wrong move and I can be in some serious trouble. Okay, perfect. Warp in. Let's orbit, focus fire. The Dominix has been pointed. Will maintain my range, but the ship wants to go above 45 kilometers for some reason, so I have to manually adjust the orbit. Whoops, that wasn't my intention. Well, the Dominix had warp core stabs. Okay, well, that happens, and I almost destroyed my own drone there. That would have been a very expensive mistake. That drone costs like 60 million. Alright, let's go to the next target. That was a long warp. How far away was this ship? That was a very long warp. Okay, we have a Caracal Navy. Let's quickly point the ship before they can warp out. I'm a little bit far away, so I just have to burn towards them. Hopefully they did not see me coming in. The thing that I really love about this ship is the 45 kilometer point range. It really helps a lot when you are hunting like this. you can afford to land a little bit far away, because you are going to be within optimal range very soon and very quickly. That Caracal is scrambled by that elite frigate, and I did land at the perfect moment. They would have definitely warped off if I came just a little bit too late. Now I have to destroy the frigate because I don't want to get scrambled. I'll take the range as an advantage, and then after the frigate is down, I'll go and loot the wreck. One more hit on the frigate should do the job. Or two more hits, okay. Today I guess I can't guess how many hits does it take to shoot down a target. That's okay. Let's now go after the wreck. It could be a very expensive Caracal Navy, who knows? And I will warp out towards, I think those anomalies on top of the screen. They look pretty far. Okay, well, I got some permanent skins there. That's good. That was a good kill. One of the more expensive Caracal Navies that you can find floating around. Alright, let's go towards the next target. Still, in one of my favorite hunting systems. So many nice ships fly here. I love it. And again, a very long warp. A very long warp. I mean, after all, it is a pretty big system. Wait, I'm warping towards the gate. Why am I warping towards the gate? Oh, okay. Okay, everything under control. Oh, okay. I forgot that this was a fleet warp. Well then, you see a
Warp
red
drive
Orthus and you see a blue Orthus. Perfect match and a perfect combination. We have some pretty good ships here. Unfortunately, I can't look at the other ship while warping, but they're pretty close, so you could see the color of the nanocore. It is just like this ship, just blue, which is a good combination. And our target is that prophecy. Oh man, that prophecy is about to have a very bad day. They are in optimal range. Let's lock on, point them. Pointed, alright. Orbiting 37 kilometers. That's a lot of alpha damage on that prophecy. There's just no way that they can tank this much incoming damage. And that was also a nice kill. Well then, let me just go and get the wreck. Alright, well, this was a lovely run, and I really can't wait to test out all of the new builds with that I have with this Orthus. Overall, I'm very satisfied and very happy with this ship so far. Might very well be one of my favorite ships in the game. Definitely a lot more deadly than my Cinnabal, which is also pretty lethal. Alright, well, hope that you enjoyed. It was fun making this, as always, and stay safe, fly safe, and I'll see you next time.